You think I have a
Mhm.
problem against putting mothers on child support? The
Well,
system did not fail. The system works really well. You can yell and scream about how I was so unfair and the justice system sucks.
it is true.
Christopher Jones and Delana Brown.
We have a partial agreement. I believe the parties believe that there is a full agreement. However, the state cannot agree to one portion of their agreement. The parties agree that $79,094.30 is owed in child support arrears as of August 16th, 2023. And that would be reduced to $24,078.26 after possession credits. The parents want to release all arrears in exchange for the mother having child support of $0 a month. However, the state cannot agree to that. What the state is proposing is that child support arrears be $200 a month beginning September 1st, 2023 on the $24,078.26 judgment. The parties agree that the father will enroll the child on the government plan of health insurance, and medical support will be $50 a month beginning September 1st, 2023. The guideline child support amount based on this would be $181 a month. However, I'm not sure if the parties agree to that amount. And then joint managing conservators, with father being the one to designate the primary residence of the child, and a standard possession schedule will be included in the order. I'll go ahead and call the parties.
Let me just start here for first.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I cannot do what y'all wanting to do. If what Ms. Phillip is saying that you want me to not do child support against mother, I can't do that. Because that could change in a month from now. I know y'all think it's easier, but it's not. So I have to enter a judgment. I'm not making a ruling yet, but I have to enter some judgment about how much is owed. If what Ms. Phillip announced is fine with you, she's going to confirm that with you in just a moment. And then y'all be paying each other. Mr. Jones, you'll be paying for the arrears amount, and that'll be your account. And Ms. Brown will pay paying child support and medical support for the future. She will have a different account. Those are not dependent on each other. We cannot move money like monopoly money where I pay and that it works both ways. It doesn't do that. We can't discount somebody's child support because the other person owes something. There actually has to be payments made. So each of you will be paying each other. It might wind up almost being zero if y'all are both paying, but I can't do a zero child support order. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's go and proceed.
I called the mother, Delana Brown. What's the name of the child involved in this case?
Camden Jones.
And how old is the child?
16.
And is it correct that the child lives with Christopher Jones, the father?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And ma'am, did you hear the announcement regarding the $24,078.26 judgment in child support?
I did.
Are you in agreement to that?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you be in agreement to the father paying that off at $200 a month?
Yes, ma'am.
And ma'am, are you in agreement to paying medical support at $50 a month starting in September?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you in agreement to the child support of $181 a month?
Is that in addition to or with the 50?
In addition to.
Okay. I just had another order Tuesday to pay $200 for my other kids. So that would I pay that to you guys as well? Is it like a standard order? Do you know?
So if your previous order said that you were supposed to pay through the state disbursement unit, then yeah, both would be paid through the child support office.
Okay.
Because this will be paid through the child support office.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay. And ma'am, are you in agreement to the two of you being appointed joint managing conservators and standard possession?
I am.
Okay. Pass a witness. And sir, are you in agreement to the judgment of $24,078.26?
Well, I don't think that's fair if they're not going after back child support over the last 6 years. And then now I still got to pay this. I mean, that's that's not fair. When I went to court back 17, y'all knew then that the kids were living with me. I had to prove all this stuff to y'all. And I went down and did everything y'all asked to me back in 17. And now for the last years, there's no child support at all that went to my kids, but now I'm still owed for previous. I mean, I don't think that's fair. Because I mean, she got thousands and dollars on income tax and that government COVID money. And it's like, now I'm still owed the 24,000 when nothing was paid to my kids for the last 6 years. Does that seem fair to you?
Sir, it's not the time for you to be asking questions.
Oh, okay.
This is,
Well, you asked if I agreed with it, and that's my issue. It's hard for me to agree to something that isn't fair. You know how? So she's going to pay me $181 for another 18 months, but yet I'm still going to be back child support or on the 24,000, and that's not fair when nothing's been paid over the last 6 years.
Do you agree to the medical support of $50 a month?
So I got to pay.
You agree that you'll enroll on the government plan of health insurance?
Yes, ma'am.
And do you agree to the child support for the mother to pay of $181 a month?
I guess.
And do you agree to being appointed joint managing conservators?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you asking that you be the one to decide where the child lives within Dallas County and surrounding counties?
Yes, ma'am.
And are you in agreement to the standard possession schedule?
Yes, ma'am.
And sir, are you okay with your address and phone number being included in the order?
Yes, ma'am.
Pass
Yeah,
the
we have a
witness.
good relationship. So.
Okay, pass the witness.
Okay, I'm not sure I understand what you're complaining about, sir. It looks like you filed your own motion to modify, and you had a hearing, last hearing with us, with the Attorney General's office was in, I think in 2018, I think it was May is what I just saw. We concluded the enforcement order, which confirmed your arrears. And then I made a note that you were going to have a future hearing for a modification that you filed. I don't know what you did with your modification. The Attorney General's office did not file the modification, you did. And so if you did your things right, then you would have ordered mother to pay child support at that time. If you didn't do that, I don't see the order. I'm looking online here, so I might have missed it, but is there an order where she's supposed that you put her on child support in 2018?
Well, here's what happened in 17, sir.
It's a yes or a no.
No.
Okay, well then there's nothing that anybody can do.
But I filed.
Should have done an order. I understand you informed the Attorney General's office, and you might have even told me that you had the child, but you did not get an order putting her on child support.
Well, I filed.
You filed your own modify.
I did, yes, sir.
Responsibility to have a hearing to get it.
And y'all didn't give me the hearing because.
Please don't tell me y'all, because you did not do your job, sir.
Sir, I filed with y'all, did everything y'all said to do, and then y'all kept giving me different court dates because y'all wouldn't serve her. So how is that my fault? Every time I got a court date, y'all gave me a new court date because y'all couldn't serve her, even though she was at the same address the whole time.
That has nothing
so
to
it's
do
okay
with
for her
what
not to pay for 6 years.
Sir, I'm not trying to argue with you.
Yes, sir.
But you're not listening. You filed your own motion to modify. The Attorney
Because
General.
I didn't have $5,000 for an attorney.
Excuse me, sir, I'm talking. I'm about to mute you if you keep interrupting me. I'm trying to explain to you. You don't want an explanation. You just want to complain. You can do that after you leave court today if you want to do that. I don't need to hear that. I'm trying to be respectful and explain it to you. If you don't want an explanation, that's fine. I don't have to be nice.
I understand,
so
sir.
What happened was in 2018, your case, you had several hearings about you not paying child support. We concluded those hearings in 2018, where we entered an order that confirmed how much you owed Ms. Brown and how much you were supposed to pay. And it said basically in that order that you did not have to come into court for those matters. But I wrote a note in my file here that you had a pending motion for modification, which I'm assuming is very similar to what you were asking for, was to stop your child support and for Ms. Brown to pay you child support. That was your motion, not the Attorney General's motion, not my motion, not anybody else's. If you didn't do your job to set child support against Ms. Brown, then there's only one person that's at fault. You can't blame the Attorney General's office for them not prosecuting your motion. If you didn't do it, it didn't get done. It's on you. We're trying to correct it as best we can here. But had you done an order in 2018 putting Ms. Brown on child support, yes, you would have received child support for the last 5 years. I don't think any judge has a problem with putting Ms. Brown on child support, just like we're doing today. but for whatever reason, you dropped the ball. You didn't get a court order. You didn't do anything. And if you don't have a court order, the Attorney General's office cannot collect the money. Had you done an order and presented it to the Attorney General's office, they would have surely helped you collect that money, but you didn't do anything. So all we can do now is backtrack. That's why we're basically wiping off $55,000 of your back child support to give you credit. We can't double dip and have her pay child support for the last 5 years because you didn't do an order. If you had done an order in 2018, you would have basically had two things happen. Number one, your child support would have ended. You wouldn't owe any child support from 2017 or 2018 until now. So then we wouldn't even have to be talking about the $55,000 or so. In addition to that, you'd be receiving child support from Ms. Brown. If you do a court order, there's nothing we can do except try to do what we're doing today. And yes, you lost out on child support, but there's nothing that anybody can do because it was your motion, not anybody else's. Yes, you can present us an order that ordered Ms. Brown to pay child support to you in 2018 until now. There's nothing we can do except what we're doing today. Do you have a court order?
I did file the motion, and I did
get a court order.
I tried to put it in child support like y'all told me, and then y'all never gave me a court date.
You
But all I'm
understand?
asking for,
Okay, sir, let me explain this. When someone files a lawsuit, it's
Mhm.
your job to serve the other party, number one. Then number two, when the party is served, to set a court date. And then number three, prove your case. It doesn't just happen because you do number one. You did
did pay y'all
you didn't do
the
number
court.
two, you didn't do number three. And
I-
then at the end, number four is you got to draft an order, write it up so the judge can sign it. You didn't do any of the other steps. I
I
understand
paid.
you. I mean, I can file a lawsuit against anybody. It doesn't mean I'm going to get money. If all you did was a motion, it's not anybody else's responsibility except yours to get an order.
And I
you get
did pay the
court order,
money.
yes or no?
And I did pay the money for y'all to serve her. I paid, it was like
You're not
almost $200.
You're not listening, Mr. Jones. Okay, we got to move on. I'm
Well,
trying
can
to
I ask
be,
you a question?
I don't
Can
think
I
it
get
doesn't
some?
matter because you're not listening, sir.
Okay, can I ask just one question? Can
You're not
can
going
we
to
do
like my
some?
answer.
Okay, no
I mean,
problem.
you're not listening. You're
Well, I see what you're saying, but I did do those steps like y'all told me to do. The first, file the motion, which I did. The second one, I paid y'all to have her served.
Who's
And so I
y'all?
couldn't do the other two
Because you
motions.
understand, I don't work for the Attorney General's office. I'm the judge.
I understand, but I did what the Attorney General told me. I went down to Fathers for Equal Rights. I paid them their money. They got me my paperwork to file the motion, and I did. Then they told me that I needed to have her served, which I paid the courts on the bottom stairs of the courts. I paid them to have her served, which they never did. So I could never do the other step because that part was never done.
Okay.
And then,
Do you understand
And
father
so-
for equal rights are not attorneys, right? You understand father for equal rights
Yes,
are
sir.
not attorneys?
well, they told me, they give me the advice. They tell me what forms to file, and I go next door and I pay them to file, to print me those forms to file with the courts, to do everything step by step. And then every time, then I even went online and tried to file child support against her because they told me to do that. And they would never allow me because it said I had an open case. And so I've tried everything I could, sir. And all I'm asking is a leeway on the back child support since I didn't get any child support for 5 years. Is there anything I could do on that end?
No, because you didn't do your job. You did
I
not
mean,
serve
she's
the
even
mother.
willing to
You did not
relinquish.
serve the mother. That's the problem. If the service failed for whatever reason, they couldn't
Well, the
find her
system
or
failed.
she ran away. No, you didn't do your job. That's what happened. The
When I-
system did not fail. The system works really well. But
Really?
if Ms. Brown was hiding, or you couldn't get her served, or you gave them a bad address, then the next solution is you find another address. You have to
I've
keep
done that.
trying till you get to those steps. And if you didn't do that, then you didn't do your job. It's not the Attorney General's office fault. They're not going to represent you. The court's not the court's fault. We're not here to give you legal advice.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's probably not even Father of Equal Rights' fault either, because all they're doing is giving you forms to fill out. You have to follow all the steps. If you follow all the steps, then I abide by the orders you got accomplished. But you didn't
But
do
even-
it. You're the only one at fault. So I cannot
Even
go
if the
back
mom,
and give you what you want when you didn't do your job. Okay, we need to
Even
end
if-
this because I have another cases rating, and I've explained it.
well,
many
even
times,
mom
and you
is
don't
willing
want
to
listen.
relinquish the
You
back
don't want to
balance.
listen. Don't want to listen.
Okay.
I've explained it several times. I understand you're not an attorney, but you're just not listening to me. You have to
Well, I
do.
get it. If you're the mom, they do everything for you, but the dad, they don't do
No,
nothing
that's not
for you.
true.
That is
I'm
true,
putting my
sir.
mother on right now. You think I have a
Mhm.
problem against putting mothers on child support? That's ridiculous.
No,
You're listening
but
to father for legal rights instead of actual attorneys.
well,
They're
I can tell you from
biased.
experience,
No,
sir,
well,
because I
my
paid
experience
y'all
in
the
this
money
case
to
is
serve
that you
her.
didn't serve. In my experience, you didn't do your job. That's the only
And how
reason.
was that when I did everything y'all told me to do?
You
You told
didn't.
me to follow the
I just
motion,
explained.
correct?
Okay, we got to move on. I'm not going to
Okay.
argue with you. You're not listening. You don't want answers. You just want to complain. When you
I
leave
don't
my
want to
court
complain,
after
but
today, you can yell and scream about how I was so unfair and the justice system sucks. But the reality is that's not true.
it
Okay.
is true.
It is not true. Not in your case.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to confirm the arrears. You owe $24,078.26. You're paying that at $200 a month. Mother's going to pay child support at $181 and medical support at $50 a month. We're doing joint managed conservatorship with standard visitation. That'll be the order of the court. The Attorney General's office is going to draft an order based on my ruling and email you both a copy. You will have separate accounts, as I explained at the beginning of the hearing. So y'all need to pay in your separate accounts. Actual money has to be paid. We cannot discount one money from the other to offset what you're supposed to pay. That's the order of the court. I understand y'all may not agree to it, but you'll have to follow those court orders. You're done with court. You can press leave on the Zoom to exit out. Thank you.
My inheritance from my father is continuously calculated in the previous child support orders, which not accurate.
Mr. Rue inherited a $300,000 home about a year and a half ago. That was fully paid off.